Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Let's Get Cereal, the weekly show where I, your host, Alyssa Marino, eat cereal and talk about stuff. Well, I have some very fun stuff to talk about in this episode, but it's actually not just me. I have my dear friend Sam Leterna and we sat down, we hashed it out, we had a little discussion, and placed some predictions for tomorrow's WWR Plus Say You'll Be There. It's a doubleheader with American Rana, so be sure that if you can't be there in person in Worcester, that you are tuning in on IWTV for pretty much an all-day affair. I've got my cereal. I'm ready. My friends, enjoy. Hello, my friends. Alyssa Marino here with host, interviewer, commentator, broadcaster extraordinaire, my pal, the incomparable Sam Leterna. How are you, my friend?
I'm very well. I'm super happy to be here with you, Alyssa, one of the best, if not the best, female commentators in the business, in my humble opinion, but I digress.
You stop it. Well, speaking of commentary, speaking of broadcasting, speaking of pro wrestling, we have a huge event coming up this Sunday that we need to talk about. It is WWR Plus. Say You'll Be There. It's a doubleheader with American Rana this Sunday, August 22nd, 1 p.m. bell time. And we decided we wanted to take you all through some of our predictions.
Let's roll through the card. It's a great card at that.
It really, really is. And the first one that I'm very excited about, just because it seems like absolute chaos, is this tag team gauntlet where we have the outfielders versus the Sea Stars versus Kings of the District versus Top Dogs versus Scrunchy Pals versus Higher Society, with so many moving parts and so many potential outcomes. Sam, lay it on me. What do you think is going to go down?
I mean, I think this match is going to be like an atomic bomb of like different characters, personalities, moves, all clashing together. I really think that it's an opportunity for teams like Higher Society, Kings of the District to prove themselves. I know that Higher Society has been doing some shady stuff at WWR, so let's see if they can back up, their talk. Boomer and Molly, the outfielders, they've been killing it all over the indies right now, holding titles at other promotions like Camp Leapfrog. So they're kind of on a roll. It could be their game. We also have the Sea Stars, who are the veterans, our resident veteran tag team at WWR Plus, right? So we can't discount them and their prowess as a tag team, a long-established tag team. But there's a lot I don't know about the Top Dogs as well. So I'm kind of wondering where they're going to figure into this. And I love Becca and Erica. I think they're my pick to win just because they work so well together.
I mean, they cut a promo where they didn't even need to use words to convey what they were feeling. So I definitely think we have, yes, the veteran aspect with the Sea Stars, and Boomer and Molly have been dominant in WWR Plus. They are so far undefeated in WWR Plus, but definitely something to be considered is Top Dogs. You have Davienne, who's just absolutely dominant, so brutal, and has had some really high profile matches. And then Skylar with recent victory over Veda Scott at Pain for Pleasure. So that could definitely be something to look out for all of our competitors. I think I'm going to give it to the Sea Stars. I think you cannot discount the longevity of their tag team, the sister aspect of it as well. That's some blood cohesion. So I'm going to give it to the Sea Stars for this one. And you talked about clash of personalities and clash of styles. The Little Mean Kathleen once in a lifetime second annual LMK Open Challenge where she chose her opponent. It's Riley Shepard against Little Mean Kathleen.
I think that both of these ladies bring tremendous energy to the ring. I think Little Mean Kathleen might have bit off a little bit more than she can chew. Choosing Riley Shepard for whatever reason she did. But Riley always has, that LARPing background in her back pocket, and sometimes a sword in her back pocket. So that is her weapon and her armor itself that she wears on her gear. I think is going to protect her against someone like Little Mean Kathleen. But from a size perspective too, we have Little Mean Kathleen, who is the smaller opponent. So she might have bitten off more than she can chew. We'll see how little and mean she can be.
This is true. If she's as mean as she is little, then Riley Shepard certainly has a task ahead of her. And also I think just Little Mean Kathleen is such a ball of energy, and sometimes the bigger they are, the harder they fall. So could the size advantage be a disadvantage for Riley Shepard against a kind of wily opponent like Little Mean Kathleen. Now, moving on down the card, we have Alicia Edwards and Kayla Sparks. Now, this was really interesting because Kayla Sparks actually made her return to pro wrestling at Pain for Pleasure, her first match back since 2007 against someone like Alicia, who has been so consistent and so focused throughout the independent scene, throughout Impact. So how is this going to shake out?
I'm really excited about this matchup because I heard a little bit about Kayla's story. I know that she suffered a really serious concussion or a series of concussions 14 years ago that led her to halt an otherwise promising career trajectory. So I'm rooting for her. Not that I'm rooting against Alicia necessarily, but I'm really just hoping that she can continue to show out and prove why she still deserves to be here. And anybody who comes back from an injury and gets in the ring after 14 years of not competing and they can still go, that's impressive to me. And her and Alicia, I believe, have wrestled each other before or trained with each other before, something along those lines. I saw some social media gossip about this, a little bit of tea. So I think they have a history that a lot of current present day fans might not be super aware of. So we're opening up a new can of worms here.
Oh, I like that. What a chasm to kind of dive into. You always have the tea though, so I do appreciate that. Definitely, I agree. I'm rooting for Kayla Sparks, but I do not know how she's going to fare against a veteran like Alicia. So and now moving down to more Impact talent, Kimberly versus Kaia McKenna, the Good Witch. The vibes of this match. All of the vibes.
I have so many questions about this match because Kimberly has been showing a different side of herself on other platforms, other wrestling platforms, working with Su Yung. So are we going to see Kimberly, the light side of Kimberly that we all know, Princess Kimberly, or are we going to see this new, incarnation of her? And if so, this will definitely be Kaia's darkest challenge to date. And can her white magic combat that kind of darkness?
And again, too, you think about just the tenure of Kimberly, a former Shimmer champion who dethroned, I believe, the longest reigning champion in Nicole Savoy, a two-time Shine tag team champion, so highly decorated. And I mean, Kaia McKenna, relatively young in her career, but I think that this really could be a standout moment for the Conduit of Karma.
Oh, yes. Well, a win against Kimberly would cement her place at WWR, certainly. But I think she's going to have a good showing regardless because Kaia works hard, she trains hard, and I really respect what she's doing as an up-and-coming star in this business.
Kaia also coming off of a serious injury as well. There's possibly that trepidation, but I think that she has been taking her recovery so seriously because of just the passion she has. And I really think that's going to shine through on Sunday.
Absolutely. I'm sure the crowd will be behind her 100%.
We spoke of Impact just now. A former Knockouts tag team champion, former Impact Knockouts champion, Jordan Grace, will be facing Ashley Dubois. Talk about having a task ahead of you. I got a chance to speak with Ashley about the prospect of facing Jordan Grace. And I don't think, as she said, the magnitude of this match has not gone past her at all.
I certainly hope not, because she's had a lot of time to think about this match. I actually interviewed Ashley as well at WWR a couple of months ago and was just thinking of, dream matches in my head, people I'd like to see Ashley verse. No one coaxed me into saying Jordan Grace, but I asked her, how would you feel about versing someone like Grace? And at that point in time, I think that she might not have maybe been as confident about her WWR plus work at that point. But now she's gotten victory after victory and is very much so in a position to defeat Jordan Grace. She has the strength. She has the incredible training, both in ring and out of the ring, as we can see from her physique. So it's anyone's game. But I do think that this is going to be one of the closest matches to call. I don't even want to make a prediction.
This is very tough because, and I do think you may have spoken this into existence. I was actually watching that interview clip where you dropped Jordan Grace's name, and here we are at WWR Plus. Say you'll be there.
True.
Hello. But you mentioned the strength of Ashley Dubois, but I mean, did you see the recent powerlifting records that Jordan Grace has set? She recently competed at World Natural Powerlifting Federation, broke all 3 state and national records for all 3 of her lifts, won first place and best overall lifter. That's what kind of scares me about when we talk about strength versus strength. I mean, it's different kinds of strength that, you know, could very well be, but I think sheer brute force, I mean, Jordan Grace's
and willpower, of course, too, because anything that Jordan Grace has put her mind to, she has achieved, both in wrestling, in her previous careers, from what I've understood, and now as a power lifter. So the world is Jordan Grace's oyster, but it's also Ashley D'Amboise's. So we'll have to wait and see.
Going into a realm not necessarily about strength per se, but maybe strength of spirit, a little bit more hardcore aspect. Addie Starr and Kennedy Copeland. Sam, level with me. Tell me what you think.
I mean, this is a dream matchup if I've ever seen one. And just getting to like have so many generational clashes now, especially within the women's realm, for me, that's so special. We have Addie Starr, who's faced countless competitors, both male and female, over the years, proving that she can not only wrestle, but also do hardcore style. And she's risen through those ranks. And Kennedy Copeland has always had something to prove, I think, to herself, as well as to the fans and to the wrestlers in the back. So this is her opportunity to do so, because we've seen her versus RSP, people like Atticus Kogar. She's a tough gal. We know this. And she's mastered hardcore, but can she master the master of hardcore?
That really is the question. I definitely think no matter what, we're going to see possibly an even scrappier, even grittier side of Kennedy Copeland that we've seen in the past. And that's what it's going to take and more to get past a vet like Addie Starr.
Absolutely. I think this is going to be a really gift-worthy match too.
Ooh. And next, something got a little shady at Pain for Pleasure. Willow Nightingale is going to be picking two, at this time, mystery opponents against the administration. At Pain for Pleasure, we saw that Damian Adams was the guest referee, and things went a little topsy-turvy, and they did not go Willow's way, little underhanded. So I definitely think that Willow has some frustrations that have built up. She had, that during that grudge match, and more even than a prediction, who do you think Willow might choose as her tag team partners?
It can literally be anybody, because Willow has so many friends. This is the ultimate likable woman in wrestling. But I would definitely say top of mind, we can't forget about Edith Surreal, because last I checked, her head's starting to feel better. She's ready to go, recovered from that concussion, or almost recovered from that concussion. And I'm hoping that she is one of her trio's partners. I don't know who the other person could be, though. I'm hoping that it's a young competitor who could use the opportunity to prove themselves personally.
There are so many people that I can't even pick out one specific one. So, but definitely I think Edith Surreal could be an incredible addition to this matchup, definitely in the corner of Willow. But I'm concerned about the administration. I'm very concerned. We already saw so many underhanded things. I really wonder how that's all going to shake out when the time comes.
I know a little something about Tino San Antonio and Dones, actually. When I used to wrestle, I used to train with Tina and Dones. They've been working with each other a really long time. They're intimately connected. And Tina, I think, has a bit of a chip on her shoulder, as we saw from her beatdown of Willow Nightingale with the administration. Tina's been wrestling for over 10 years and has just now started to resurface on the scene, similar to Kayla Sparks in that way. So while, of course, Willow, I'm hoping she gets her comeuppance for bad behavior on the end of the administration, this is also Tina's time to show what she's got. So let's see. You want to make big moves against big people? Well, let's see if you can back it up.
Tina did say that she feels like the way to get the power is to defeat the babe with the power. Now, having done that, granted underhandedly, at Pain for Pleasure, what does it mean now to really drive that point home? But now the match that I think is so incredibly special, the two most dominant women in WWR Plus finally collide. There's been so many mind games along the way, but the Megasis Megan Bayne faces Trishadora.
Ooh, well, I'm very partial to Trishadora. I'm a big fan of Trisha's, but I think that this is going to be one of her most difficult challenges to date, because Megan poses such a difference stylistically. Whereas, We have Trishadora, who is a pure style wrestler, also well-rounded in her own right, but tends to work pure rules. And then we have someone like Megan, who is very much so a powerhouse wrestler. They're both in the gym training hard. Megan is training with Damian Adams, training every day, night in, night out. So you know that she's getting the reps in and definitely training for this match. But with Trish, I think that Trish has a tremendous amount of heart, and she very much so is a warrior. Not only because of her, military combat background, but because of all that she's had to go through to get where she is. And a fun fact for the fans, when I used to wrestle, I actually was at a seminar with both Trish and Megan Bain in 2019. And this was when no one knew who either of them was. And they were kind of competing neck and neck for a position at this seminar. So I think that this is a really full circle moment for both of them too. And I hope that they recognize that this is really special. And I'm really proud of where both of them have come over the years, even though Megan's being a little bit of a wet noodle with her tactics in the ring. But where are you at with this, Alyssa?
So I 100% agree just about the gravity of this situation. Trishadora has the edge, I think, of being not only a physical, but a mental competitor, someone that plays chess to strategize and how that can kind of permeate everything that you do, whether it's in the ring or out. She actually, Trish, told me that she plans to bounce Megan Bain all over the White Eagle. So if that holds correct, then I think we may see Trishadora victorious. But the thing that I think is a little bit nerve-wracking is that Megan Bain doesn't say a whole lot. Megan Bain doesn't really show her hand. And there may be something in her own strategy that we might be missing, whereas Trish has kind of divulged her plans. I still believe with my heart of hearts that that Trish will come out of this victorious, but again, she is facing a goddess. I think Paul and I talked about on commentary, how do you train a goddess? How do you defeat a goddess?
You have to use all the heart that you have in your human heart to defeat a goddess. That's what I would say. A little bit of a mythology nerd on my end. I love mythology. I would say that as long as Megan doesn't, do any trifling behavior, maybe using the goddesses from previous shows where she's had them interfere, I think it'll be a pretty even playing field because Megan's kind of got that strong mental game going, but it's silent. Whereas Trish, we all know that she mentally prepares for every match, and she's versed just about everyone on the indie scene. Whereas I think Megan has kind of kept her talents and what she's capable of a little closer to her, waiting for the right moment to really show what she's capable of. So this is going to be the coming out for Megan Bain, either way, victory or not. And Trishadora, if she does win, if she doesn't, is going to continue to show why she's one of the biggest and brightest stars on the indies right now. I'm confident in that.
Well, so many stars are going to be burning bright this Sunday. My friends, be sure that you do not miss WWR Plus. Say you'll be there. It's, as we said, this Sunday, August 22nd, with a 1 p.m. bell time at the White Eagle in Worcester and streaming live on Independent Wrestling TV. Sam, I know that you will be there. Have so much fun, and be sure to report all of the action back to us.
Oh, I shall. I'm super excited. It's going to be a really busy day.
Thank you so much for joining me, and my friends, we will see you later. Breakfast Buddies, thank you so much for tuning in for this episode. What did you think of mine and Sam's predictions? Do you have predictions of your own? Tag me. I want to hear about it. And do not forget to tune in tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern bell time, streaming live on Independent Wrestling TV for WWR Plus. Say you'll be there. And then stay tuned right after for Beyond American Rana. Whew, what an exciting day. It's going to be a day full of wrestling and cereal. For me. And you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. Well, until next time, my friends, continue to do your best to be your best. And I will see you later.